The President of the Republic of Albania, Ilir Meta, said he is ready to sacrifice his presidency if it would prevent a military junta that would hurl Albania 30 years into the past. Lushnja farmers were literally crying over spilt milk today as they poured their dairy products in the streets in a sign of protest against the new VAT scheme. Despite increases in the overall rate of employment in Albania, the World Bank continues to raise concerns about low salaries as well as employee informality. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, the 20th of March, 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only update of the local Albanian news each day. Making headlines tonight, the President of the Republic, Ilir Meta, declared today from Pogradec that the deep crisis of representation can be solved only through political dialogue in order to restore the legitimacy of the representation in the Albanian Parliament. The President stated that the opposition's decision to relinquish their mandates was an unacceptable act. According to the President, the withdrawal from mandates by the opposition has brought a deep representation crisis in the most fundamental institution of the Republic, the Albanian Parliament. Now the crisis is further deepened after unprecedented action by the Albanian opposition. This is an unacceptable and punishable act that has seriously deepened the representation crisis of the Albanian Assembly as the main representative institution of the Republic of Albania and the Albanian citizens, declared President Meta. Furthermore, the President went on to say that in his opinion, there are 82 lawful MPs in the Albanian Parliament, including those 3 opposition MPs who refused to give up their mandates. In my opinion, today the Albanian Parliament has 82 lawful MPs, including those 3 opposition MPs who refused to relinquish their mandate. Any other number in the Albanian Parliament creates serious problems, deepens the crisis of representation, and is contestable in the legal, political, moral and constitutional plan, said President Meta. The head of state also underlined that completing the parliament with other MPs only conceals the crisis and undermines the opening of negotiations. Today in Albania, there are more than 1 million pro-European Albanians that are of the appropriate age and can fill in the self-declaration form. Hence, they can help in adopting laws or various reforms. But the deep crisis of representation can't be solved either by force, by police methods, or by financial means. This can only be done through political dialogue. We must restore the legitimacy of the representation in the Albanian Parliament through dialogue. We must do so whilst respecting the Constitution and the separation of powers and all the commitments that Albania needs to fulfil urgently to receive a positive response in regards to opening negotiations, concluded Meta. Security measures continued to be strengthened around the Parliament in response to the opposition's protests, this time in the form of an iron fence reinforced with concrete. The fence protects the main entrance, the secondary entrance, the pedestrian side and the entrance to Tirana Castle. Before the protest occurs tomorrow, the police plan to set up further wire fences along the park in front of the Assembly, the entrance to the shopping mall and the pedestrian doorway from the Boulevard of the Nation's Martyrs. During the protest, more than 1,000 police officers from the Rapid Intervention Forces, State Police Force and Eagles are expected to be engaged. The opposition is expected to follow the same strategy as in the other protests, with citizens calling to join the rally at 9:30 a.m. Farmers of Lushnja have been joined by other dairy farmers in taking to the streets of Lushnja today, protesting for the change in reimbursement of VAT for agro-processors. The protesters have blocked traffic near the roundabout at the entrance of the Fia-Lushnja highway. They hold banners in their hands as they call for the government to further subsidise agriculture. The farmers literally cried over spilt milk, an act which they undertook on the highway while the police tried to maintain the situation. The protesters demanded that the government revoke their decision. For the past 2 days, livestock farmers and agro workers have stopped collecting milk due to the VAT rate being set at 6%. We are going to go bankrupt. We seek to decrease the VAT on milk. We have taken loans from the banks and all the while we are forced to throw out our production into the trash bin, said one of the protesters. Farmers and agro workers say that this change in the scheme will cause both sides to go bankrupt and as such they demand it be amended. Police took strong security measures to avoid problems with the traffic congestion due to the blocking of the national road, as well as to prevent any other incidents. Albanian wages continue to be some of the lowest in Europe. The World Bank's latest report had some good news in relation to declining unemployment, but noted that labour costs are significantly lower, even when compared to other countries in the Western Balkans. Given the conditions, policymakers are expected to take measures. Expert Selami Jepa expressed his concern over worrying salary rates of our country. Another indicator of the World Bank report is the high informality of the employees. The World Bank also noted the fact that youth unemployment continues to remain high, despite the fact that during 2018 there was a decline. Albanians are an unhappy bunch, especially in comparison to other Europeans, mainly because of corruption, daily worries and deficient social support. The World Happiness Report, published on Wednesday by the United Nations, ranked Albania at 107 out of 156 places in total. Amongst countries of the region, Kosovo are by far the biggest optimists, sitting at 46th place, followed by Serbia in 70th place, Montenegro in 73rd place, Greece in 82nd place, and Macedonia in the 84th place. Compared to a year ago, Albania has made a slight improvement, up by 5 places, but is again surrounded by such fragile nations as Venezuela, Laos, and other African countries. The corruption perception indicator continues to negatively affect the country's position by listing it among the 50 most corrupt states in the world. Analysing factors such as gross domestic product, birth benefits, charity, social support and corruption, the report on world happiness concludes that citizens' happiness is directly linked to the perceived actions that their governments undertake to increase their well-being. Finland has yet again been crowned the happiest country in the world, followed by other Scandinavian countries including Denmark and Norway. Citizens needing urgent medical assistance should also have the money to buy medicines, as many are now out of stock across the country's hospitals. Citizens have even reported cases where doctors themselves have been told to buy the medicines at the pharmacy, as they cannot be found at the hospital. The problem has become quite a concern for Kimete Hoja, who has been visiting her brother at the hospital for the past 3 months. She is obligated to buy medicines herself at the pharmacy. She has asserted that hospitals lack even the most basic equipment, such as thermometers, and the lack of medication is a concern for many other citizens as well. Previously, doctors and nurses themselves have denounced cases of hospitals lacking supply of medical gloves. Pictures released today project what a girl from Kukus, Bleona Mata, who has been missing for the past 9 years, may look like in the current time at age 16 years. American experts, in collaboration with ALO 116, the National Child Counselling Line, published images of Bleona's projected appearance today, along with a picture of her mother and her younger brother. The images were realised for the purpose of helping to find the mysterious missing daughter, a case for which nothing is yet known. Like Bleona, there are 5 other children who have been reported missing since 2009, according to ALO 116. Bleona Mata was last seen on May 22, 2010. Her whereabouts and details surrounding her disappearance remain unknown. Head of the Union for Human Rights Party, Vanjul Dule, has issued a statement regarding a report by the Council of Europe, which listed Albania as a country with the lowest standards in respecting the rights of ethnic minorities. Dule stressed that there should be a sincere political dialogue on improving the legal framework for minorities and respecting the principle of free self-identification. In our country, ethnic minorities are not respected as they deserve to be. The Union for Human Rights Party addresses the government and the political class in our country in saying that Albania needs the institutionalisation of a permanent and sincere dialogue between the government and state structures in order to complement the legal framework. We must amend and improve it to comply with the respectful standards in the jurisdiction of the Council of Europe and the European Union, explained Dule. Giving an opinion on Albania, the Council of Europe Advisory Committee for the Convention on the Protection of National Minorities, held 1 day before, asked the Albanian authorities to put into effect the domestic law on the protection of national minorities through the adoption of additional legislation. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.